Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This is an update about what is happening once again in Nigeria. I was opportune to listen to an interview granted by the Nobel laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka, about the horrendous events that took place in Paris, France, when he was about coming to Nigeria because of the foolishness and the stupidity of the Nigerian government. It is so funny and embarrassing. We don't even know who is in charge in Nigeria. Maybe it's Abba Kyari that is in charge, or what do you call him? Magaji Bichi, this guy here. That is the Director General of DSS, Magaji Bichi, the one that ordered the killing of Chief Adeyemo Igboho. He is the one that directed his boys to go and kill Adeyemo Igboho, to go and assassinate Chief Adeyemo Igboho in Ibadan. That is the director of the DSS. He is the one that directed them to go and murder the Yoruba rights activist. But fortunately, they couldn't kill him, but they succeeded in killing another two important Yoruba citizens. And that is a topic for another day. But we don't even know who is in charge. Maybe it's this Bichi. Maybe it's the other one, Issa Pantami. That is the Minister for Communication and Digital Economy. I don't know towards what ends. Why they are doing that to Nigerians. It is not only Professor Wole Soyinka that had that kind of horrendous, stupid experience. A lot of guys contacted me too, that when they were boarding, they couldn't go because they needed a clearance from Nigeria before they could allow to board. This is what we are talking about. Nigerians, you can brace up for worse of times. I told you, this guy is worse than General Sani Abacha. This guy is still living in the 1930s. He is still living in the Paleolithic age, in the stone old age. That is where this ugly old soul is still living. To make life difficult for Nigerians. I don't know what they want to achieve by that foolish policy, but what I can just say for now is that they needed all your data at their immigration station, at the border in Lagos or Kano or Abuja or wherever, so that if you are part of those ones that are on their wanted list, especially those that are agitating for Yoruba nation, Biafra nation, so that they can prepare for you how to whisk you to their foolish DSS detention center in Abuja. I think that is one of the reasons why they are doing those profiling. Or else, I don't understand it. That has nothing to do with COVID regulation. That has nothing to do with COVID. That is just how the mind of these fascist people, that is how their mind works. Look at them, junketing all over the world in luxury aircraft, with all the money paid by the Southerner, from Lagos seaport, from our oil deposit, wasting resources, doing nothing all over the world, junketing everywhere. The more he travels, the more Nigerian gets spoiled. The Naira now is like about 700 Naira to £1. Like almost 700 Naira to €1. To dollar, maybe 600 Naira. It is still going to 1,000 to $1. I'm telling you, if this kind of incompetent, clueless, brainless, these people are just bereft of ideas. That is how to put it. If these one are in charge of your country, or your economy, then you can forget it. Look at them. Look at them. Killers. That is their name. They don't know more than killing. Killing is ongoing now in Southeast, in the Eastern region. Killing is ongoing there. Look at them. Look at Issa Pantami, a terrorist, going to pray in the Holy Land. Look at Buhari. What is Buhari praying about? Who is Buhari praying to? This guy, his hands is filled with blood. There are a lot of blood on his neck. So who is he praying to? Why are we deceiving ourselves? Who is he praying to? Is he praying to God or is he praying to another demon? I don't know. How can this kind of people sleep in the night? Look at him. Look at him like a scarecrow. In Yoruba, in those days, when you go to farm, there is an effigy, like a stick. You put some cloth on a dead wood. Then so that when the birds are coming, when they see, they think somebody is in the farm. Then they flee. We call them adiko. Look at him. He look like just like an adiko, like an effigy, like a scarecrow. Look at him. That is the president and commander-in-chief of your republic. This guy don't even have the competence to run a family. This guy cannot run a local government. And your foolish Tinubu brought him to come and be a ruler over Nigeria. And now, as compensation for a good job, Tinubu is waiting for Nigerians to enthrone him and crown him as the next sheriff in town. I don't know where these guys, where they live. I don't know which kind of brain they have in their head. Maybe it's a sawdust brain. I don't know. Look at him, commander-in-chief. Look at Issa Pantami, a terrorist par excellence. In a Senate climb, this guy should be in jail now. Should be helping the security operatives what he knows about terrorism in Nigeria and around the world. But no, this is Nigeria. He is a presidential right-hand man. He is a right-hand man to Buhari, so nothing can touch him. Nothing can touch him. Look at Lai Mohammed. There's an accusation in Kwara State that he stole 100 million. No, DSS cannot check him. They cannot query him because they are the presidency. See them. Foolish people. Foolish people at the helm of affair. When this kind of non-entity are your ruler, you can forget it. All I can tell you, Nigerians, you got to buckle up, fasten your belt. Other times lies ahead. Because these guys, they've borrowed everything they can borrow, and they will still borrow more. Do you understand it? So, if you are traveling to Nigeria, be very careful. Plan ahead of time. It can take you 3 days before you get clearance to enter Nigeria. I don't even know who want to enter that Nigeria. That shit hole where there is no light, no good road, no water, no food, no communication, and to top it all, no security. Many of my guys that travel from London, from Germany, from Switzerland to Nigeria, they never make it back. They died there. They were shot. One in Owerri, another one in Ibadan, another one, I think, somewhere in Niger State. So, who is even interested in coming to that shit old country that they are making coming there difficult? If this man can spend almost 3 days extra in Paris, a professor of international repute, a Nobel laureate, then what happens to you, ordinary Nigerian, that does not have the luxury of getting a Schengen visa so that you can go back to town in France, in Paris, and sleep? Look, do not make the mistake of bringing back Tinubu to that place. You are just killing yourself. I'm telling you, if there is no minimum of regional governance, minimum, forget Nigeria. Regional governance, Western regions, Eastern region, Northern region, I don't know how they call it, to start with, that will, at the end of the day, lead to confederation, lead to independent Yoruba nation, or Biafran nation, or Middle Belt Republic. There is no hope in that place. I will show you the video now. I'll play with the video. It was an interview he granted to one of the leading television stations in Nigeria. Then you can listen to Professor Wole himself and hear him out about what this kind of clueless, brainless, headless lot did for no good reasons. Every time they junket from policy to policy without finishing any of them, they make a shabby treatment, they make a shipwreck, a wreckage of whatever they touch. Look, future investment initiative, today is e-money, tomorrow is e-naira, and that one is e-currency. At the end of the day, every e-border also, e-border, everything rubbish. That is what you get when you elect non-entity to be your leader. Look at him. Look. Does this guy look like somebody that can run a local government? Look at him. You put this guy in charge of billions of dollars. Now, Nigeria is borrowing everywhere. Borrowing everywhere. And they never learn what happened to his friend in Guinea, Conakry, the one that happened in Sudan, and the one that happened in Mali. This idiot has never learned any lesson until that head is blew off at the end of the day. I pity Nigerians. It's a shame that a country that is so rich as Nigeria has a lot of issues to grapple with because of foolish leadership. It baffles me, it beyonds me, I cannot explain it. Still, instead of them to concentrate on the real problem, they were chasing shadow, chasing Nnamdi Kanu, chasing Chief Sunday Adeyemo. IPOB is their problem. Ordeal nation is their problem. There is no way Yoruba nation will still not go. That Yoruba was not Nigeria. Yoruba is not Nigeria. Yoruba is Yoruba, and get this into your fucking skull. That is the crux of the matter. Yorubas can never continue doing this stupidity you are doing, and you think they will belong to that nonsense, to that shithole. I saw a video of the medium security prison in Abolongo in Oyo State. I look at the inmates. These people are very heartless. And to the Minister of Interior, what is important to him is that nobody should help them, nobody should give them food, nobody should pity them, bring them back to continue their suffering. Meanwhile, the real people that are supposed to be in there are people like Buhari, Pantami, Adegbeshola himself. They are the people that are really supposed to be inside that place, not those hopeless, helpless guys there. They knock them out of life. They put them in there without any hope, without any help. But the real criminals are outside, working, calling shots. What a word. What an injustice. Well, Nemesis will catch up with all of you. He that thinks he owns the world, the time is coming for them to know that the word, the hurt, belong to God, and the fullness thereof. That you guys are just there like a bird of passage, and you will soon fly away to a sure, hopeless, and godless eternity because of the evil that you've perpetrated on this side of the divide. So, watch the video, drop your comment, listen to what the professor said in that video, then subscribe to this channel, drop your comment. I want to know how you feel about all of these things that are playing out in Nigeria. The country has lost out, of course. The country can never remain the same. You bring the best economists in the world to come and run Nigeria, it is no longer possible. It is a dead horse. Anybody that is flogging a dead horse is just wasting his or her time. Nigeria is a stinking pot of soup that must be flushed down in the toilet. Must be disposed, must be getting rid of, or else the stench will destroy the whole atmosphere. Till I come your way next time, watch the video, drop your comment. See you later. Bye.
When an individual is prevented from gaining entry into his own country through the lapses of others, then there is a problem. A few months ago, when trying to get back into this country, I reached, and through France, incidentally, I reached Charles de Gaulle Airport, had my boarding pass, and I was about to board the plane. At the very entrance to the plane, I was told I couldn't get on. I had my vaccination. I'd taken the 72-hour COVID test, and I was negative. But apparently there was one more. There was a new one called PCR. Is that correct? I don't even know these initials. Anyway, which the Nigerian government had begun to insist upon. Now, I was away from the country at the time. I didn't know this. I thought I was all geared up. I couldn't get on that plane. I had to go back into Paris. And the test, by then the offices had closed or whatever. Anyway, I spent 3 extra days in Paris before I could get back on. After taking the test and getting my result, 3 days. I did not complain. I didn't invite you to chat with you. I felt it's okay. That's my fault. I should have known. Maybe not, but I felt I should have known. But it's happened a second time, just about a week ago. This time I had my PCR, or whatever it's called, and of course I still remained vaccinated. And exactly the same thing happened to me. And of course, it did not happen to me alone. There were other Nigerians who passed the night at the airport. They couldn't leave the airport because they'd already passed immigration. But at the gate, they were also turned back. This time, it was not PCR or whatever it's called. It was that they had not gone to something called the Nigerian Travel Portal and obtained permit to travel. Well, again, it was my turn. I said, I've got everything. I've got PCR, etc. They said, no, there was one more item which the Nigerian government now required. Of course, others were again similarly affected. So I had to go back into Paris. And then I was directed where to go through this machine here and pay the necessary amount, and then permission will be generated from Nigeria so that I could travel back to my own country. All right. I rebooked. Following morning, I was back at Air France. At the hotel, we tried to get onto this portal. We could not. Following morning, 8 a.m., I started again with the hotel staff. Finally, at 10 o'clock, realizing that I might miss my flight again, I carried my bag from the airport hotel, went to Air France. I said, listen, I've got my ticket. I was given a new boarding pass yesterday. Since yesterday and this morning, I've been trying to get on this portal. I want to get on this flight. Together with Air France staff, between 10 a.m. and 2 something, we kept working. They brought their computers. Some changed my password here for me so that they could then try through their own whatever it was. Between 10 and 2 something, we did not. At one time, there were 6 members of Air France staff working on their own computers, working on this very computer, and trying, and my phone, of course, trying to get this permit to return to Nigeria. We succeeded maybe around 12 or something in the receipt of a payment from my credit card being acknowledged. In other words, we got that far. But it did not generate this permit to enter Nigeria, which has a barcode, a square barcode. If I find it, I'll show it to you. Now, the process itself is really remarkable. I don't believe for a moment that it was the Ministry of Health or the director of the National Health, whatever it is, who created that questionnaire. I think it was the minister, it must be the Ministry of Internal Affairs. I invite you all to attempt to get on that portal and tell me what this has to do with COVID after the first couple of questions. What the majority of those questions has to do with COVID, I don't understand. I went through it again, some of the questions repeated. I'm telling you that at one stage, 6 Air France staff were working on various computers to generate this permit for which payment had been made. So I asked them, do you have any other flights going to other West African countries, neighboring countries preferably, which do not require this secret service kind of questionnaire, because that's what I consider it. And they said, oh, there's a flight leaving for Lomé at 4:30. I said, put me on it. I said, I'll go and join Igbo in Republic, wherever he is, and then maybe we'll come back into Nigeria together the same way as he got out, which is why I mentioned him at the very beginning. That was an option. Boarding began about maybe, I think, 20 minutes to 3. I told them, make sure you get me on that flight to Lomé. There was one to Lomé. Carried my bags, ready to go to Lomé. In the meantime, one of the supervisors had come from the office. She was in Mufti, not in something, and was working the phones like mad. And suddenly she broke into a sigh, a smile of relief, came running to where I was with my bags and said, I have good news, I have good news. You've been given special permission to re-enter your country. I don't believe that I should require, or any Nigerian should require special permission to enter his or her own country. So nobody is saying don't take precautions, because the next thing they will say, well, the Soyinka'S said they should let everybody in and anybody at any time anyhow. No, nobody is saying you shouldn't take the necessary precautions. Other nations do it, but I don't believe that other nationals are, not humiliated is the wrong word, no, I just obstructed the way we are. I understand that some other West African countries have similar regulations. You have to go to the portal, fill this, fill that. But if this thing is not 100% proof, why should we be punished? Because some people are technologically inefficient, and yet they're imposing these technological requirements on passengers. It's not a pleasant sight to see your fellow Nigerians lying on couches. They can't go in, they can't go out, they're trapped in limbo. I think that's wrong. And so whoever is responsible for these funds should proceed to design something easier for humanity to fulfill, and also to have backup situations. When technology breaks down, human intelligence should come to the rescue. There must be a means, for instance, for me to be able to pick up the phone myself and call a number, an emergency number, and say, here I am, I've filled the forms, this damn thing has not generated this pass that I need to enter my own country in addition to my passport. And so there's a plea to the Ministry of Health, which must be involved, I'm sure, in this forum, Internal Affairs, which I'm convinced must have participated in this form, which I feel, if you don't believe me, please go online and see whether that looks like a normal kind of health questionnaire to enable you to enter your own country. I don't think it should be necessary for me to go and land in Lomé and get on a motorcycle pillion again and find my way through my hunting paths from one country to the other. No, I think I should be able to fly like any other modern human being without asking for any special privileges. I could have terminated this marathon much earlier. I could have insisted, please get hold of this person, get hold of this. My name is this is my status in this country. I even have national honors, believe it or not. I could have done all of that, but I wanted them to go through the entire process, even for the second time, to find out just what the hell is going on and why one should be subjected to this kind of ordeal on earth. So it's a plea to all the ministries which are involved. Please let us go out through the front door and come back in through the front door as is befitting to all normal citizens. Stop treating Nigerians like criminals and illegal immigrants who end up sleeping on the couches and on the floor at airports. I like to begin by accepting everything. But when you go through this questionnaire, the thing you have to fill, on your computer, you just wonder what it's all about. Is it really about COVID prevention, or is it to gather information on Nigerians in a covert way, utilizing the COVID requirements? Because this strikes me. And incidentally, the Air France people, let me tell you, they found the entire questionnaire ludicrous and ponderous and unnecessarily complicated. In fact, she used one expression. He said, repeat the same question again and again. It's unnecessary. So I'm not saying an attempt was made to banish me, but I felt like I was serving a decree of banishment, at least for 24 or 48 hours. That's exactly how I felt. You have to carry your bag as you're about to enter the plane. You go all the way back, then you go through immigration again to be let into France. Fortunately, I had a Schengen visa. Many of the Nigerians there who were transiting from elsewhere did not have a Schengen. They couldn't go into France even if they wanted. So they were banished from their own country. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in a mess. This country is in a mess. It is disintegrating before our very eyes. The government is floundering. It's not merely that the government is devoid of a holistic solution. The problem really is that this government does not have a holistic grasp of the problems of the nation and the environment in which we live, and the time also in which we're living. After all, look at Sudan right now. It's in turmoil simply because some people got up one day and decided that an arrangement come into for the governance of that nation to be abrogated because they're carrying the guns. And of course, the people have responded in a marvelous way, in a united way. Doctors, workers, students, market people, and the last time the oil workers, they've all got up and said no. Part of the problem which we have in this nation, and which has plagued us, except for a few memorable times, is this ability to act in concert. From time to time, we have a section of the nation comes together and says, enough. We're human beings. We will not be treated like beasts, like NSARS, for instance. That's one such movement, which unfortunately ended up somewhat tragically, but it doesn't matter. It was a step in the right direction. And what I'm trying to say to you that is this, that if we're still looking to this government for solution, then I think we really are lost. We've got to find a way of piling up pressure to enable us to meet as equal beings across the entire nation for a national endeavor involving the various professions, the various group interests, ethnic groups, any sector, productive sector of this nation should be encouraged to come together and really debate the future of this nation. We're going along piecemeal solutions all the time, piecemeal solutions. One way or the other, one misses that sense of a grasp of the totality, an understanding of the connection of one part of governance, one part of civic society to the others, ethnic nationality to the other, even the possibility of evolving an ideology. I don't know, maybe that's too heavy an ambition, but it doesn't matter. At least the capacity, a new trajectory which enables this large piece of real estate with its people to hold together in a productive and dignified and egalitarian manner. This, at the moment, is what is missing. For the rest, I can only say, please go and read my latest work, Chronicles from the Land of the Happiest People in the World. And then you decide whether that title is justified or is meant to be ironic, and if it's the latter, what really it is trying to say. You can get it from my publisher at subsidized prices. I will beg him to sell it to you so that you don't have any excuse that you couldn't afford a copy. Thank you very much. End of this session.